Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we are taking a walk through the Security Square Mall in Woodlawn, Maryland. This dying mall on the west side of Baltimore pretty much sits with an uncertain future, as redevelopment plans have recently begun to materialize with the loss of its final anchors. However, this mall does retain quite a cool vintage aesthetic, so whilst we still can, join me for a walk through the Security Square Mall and let's see what it holds in store for us during my visit in May 2024. History would begin in the late 1960s, when in 1969, Edward J DeBartolo wanted to build a new mall for the west side of Baltimore. He would end up purchasing land just off of I-695 in Woodlawn, Maryland, and construction would progress throughout the early 1970s. The mall would be named Security Square Mall, and would get its name from the Social Security Administration offices nearby. Security Square Mall would officially open its doors for the first time on Friday, September 29, 1972, being anchored by local department store Hochschild Kohn's, with a Sears and a JCPenney opening up shortly after. At the time of opening, Security Square Mall would be one of the largest malls within Baltimore, and would feature the city's first JCPenney store. It would also feature a twin-screen cinema, along with a Woolworths and several other shops. Security Square Mall would see success in the beginning. This would result in an expansion to the mall in 1979, adding a Hechts as a new anchor store. Although the mall was successful at this time, DeBartolo would sell the mall to JMB Urban Realty in 1983. In 1984, Hochschild Kohn's would be acquired by Hutzler's, and the store at Security Square Mall would be converted to a Hutzler's. Security Square Mall would continue to see success throughout the 1980s, and this would result in a renovation happening at the mall. This renovation would include the addition of a new skylight in the center court, as well as the addition of a new food court near the Hechts, as well as a new main mall entrance in that food court. This food court would replace the mall's original cinema, which then would be replaced with a new cinema as an out parcel in the mall parking lot. However, in 1989, Hutzler's would close their Security Square Mall location along with all of their other stores as the entire company went out of business. However, this vacancy would be addressed as Montgomery Ward would take over the space in 1991. Whilst the 90s would continue to see success at Security Square, changes would continue to happen. In 1994, JMB Urban Realty would sell Security Square Mall to Capital Investment Associates, and they would hire Hechts and Rotner Retail Inc. as their management company. In 1997, Woolworths would close up shop, and their space would be converted to Burlington Coat Factory shortly after. Whilst there wasn't much else happening throughout the rest of the late 90s, the new millennium would bring struggles to Security Square Mall, as in 2001, JCPenney and Montgomery Ward would close their Security Square Mall stores. Montgomery Ward would close as the entire company went under, whilst JCPenney would close due to underperformance. Whilst this was a devastating blow for Security Square Mall, both of these spaces would be addressed. In 2003, the former JCPenney space would be converted to Seoul Plaza, which was a mall within a mall concept consisting of several Korean shops and restaurants, as well as the Grand Mart supermarket. And in 2004, the former Montgomery Ward space would become home to Modell's Sporting Goods. In 2006, Hechts would be converted to Macy's during the May and Federated Department Stores buyout. However, Modell's would only last a short time, as they would close in 2008. From there, the space would be subdivided to make way for multiple tenants. Some of these tenants would include a trade school, USA Discounters, and a GameStop, just to name a few. On top of that, Seoul Plaza wouldn't end up working out at Security Square Mall, as the Grand Mart would close in 2008, and many of the tenants inside would close by 2010. Resulting in Seoul Plaza becoming an empty ghost town. By the 2010s, many tenants inside Security Square Mall would be home to more mom-and-pop shops rather than name-brand retailers. Whilst this did work out for a while, as the mall's occupancy would continue to be rather high around this time, it wouldn't stop the retail apocalypse from taking its toll on Security Square Mall. USA Discounters would be replaced with Bayet Furniture by 2015. And in 2018, Seoul Plaza would be renamed to the Grand Village Plaza, which would only last a short time, as in July 2019, it would finally close after its final tenant, Seoul Spa, would have its lease terminated. This would be due to the space being purchased by a mega church, who planned to redevelop the whole Seoul Plaza building. And in August 2019, Sears would announce the closure of its Security Square Mall location, and the store would close for the last time in October 2019. Once the 2020s rolled around, things would really take a turn for the worst. After the mall reopened from the COVID lockdown in 2020, inline occupancy would begin to empty out at Security Square Mall. It would only get worse when in 2021, a shooting would happen at Security Square Mall, which would end up causing a lot of controversy on how safe the mall really was. Bayet Furniture would end up closing sometime around 2022, and the entire building would be converted to a self-storage facility. And more stores would continue to leave by this point. Shortly after my visit to the mall, Burlington Coat Factory would announce their closure in July 2024, with plans to relocate to a new store in nearby Cantonsville. Whilst their space would be converted to an appliance liquidation store, the final nail in the coffin would face Security Square Mall in January 2025, when Macy's would announce the closure of their Security Square Mall location along with over 60 other stores. And the store would close for the final time in March 2025. The city would end up purchasing the former Macy's building in hopes of beginning redevelopment. Plans have recently began circling around to convert Security Square Mall into a mixed-use facility. Today, it seems that the Security Square Mall is pretty much sitting on borrowed time. Whilst there are still some stores left inside, it seems like the mall's days are numbered, thanks to proposed redevelopment. However, only time will tell what will happen to the future of Security Square Mall.
Although Security Square was not one of the major malls I was looking forward to visiting on our trip to Baltimore, it really impressed me with its beautiful vintage 70s charm, and it was filled with palm trees and even a touch of neon near the center court. This mall, despite our burnout towards the end of the trip, was a delight to walk around in and experience for ourselves. It's a shame it's not doing well anymore, as this mall was very pleasant and felt like a time capsule of the 70s.
Overall, Security Square Mall was a really cool mall to visit. It had a ton of vintage character and some quite cool features to its architecture, such as the neon customer service sign, the giant skylight in the center court with the palm trees, the classic flooring, and the really cool looking ceilings. Although this mall was renovated, it doesn't really look like it was touched up that much, as it still feels like a time warp back into the 1970s, and I really like it. It's a very cool looking mall. And although this was the 9th mall on our Maryland trip and our burnout was really starting to kick in here, we still had a great time. Now, when I was visiting here, I had a feeling that this Macy's was going to close in the near future, and sure enough I was right. So when I visited, I thought ahead and grabbed some quick footage inside the Macy's. So before we leave this mall, let's take a quick walk through this former Macy's department store. Now, this Macy's was a time warp as well. It seems like not much was touched in this store since at least the 1980s, which really went to show considering that many of the employees were complaining about the maintenance in this store towards the end. And I could see why when we were here, because I do remember it smelling quite musty throughout the store. However, the architecture inside is still really cool, although in a store like this, seeming a bit outdated. but this store definitely did suffer with poor maintenance, as well as some sections of the store that weren't very well stocked and lacking amenities. For example, this location did not have a Macy's backstage, and a section of the store was closed off and turned into a stockroom, which was a pretty big dead giveaway that this store was not going to make it much longer. And to be honest, I'm shocked it even made it as long as it did. Now, as I stated, the future of this mall is definitely uncertain, but it does seem like closure and redevelopment is most likely what will happen. I have seen quite a few different proposals of redevelopment, but it seems like the city wants to convert this property into a mixed-use facility. And since the city bought the former Macy's building, it seems like redevelopment is definitely likely. I believe that this mall is a dying mall and that its days are numbered. However, only time will tell what the official future will hold for this mall. But before we go, I would like to ask what your thoughts are on the Security Square Mall. And do you have any memories visiting this mall growing up? Be sure to leave them in the comments down below. What do you think the future holds for this property? Be sure to also share that in the comments down below. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you all for watching my video tour of the Security Square Mall in Woodlawn, Maryland. If you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like as it greatly helps support the channel. And whilst you're at it, be sure to click that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more mall videos like this to be released to more viewers like you. I have a lot more content coming to the channel very soon with a lot more malls you're not going to want to miss. So be sure to subscribe for more videos to come your way. I also have an Instagram linked in the description with sneak peeks of future videos coming to the channel. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care, stay awesome, and have a blessed day. I will see you all in my next video.